We've come to the Cambridge Union where the last hustings of this general election campaign is about to take place, and we're joined by three students who have still to make up their minds about who they'll vote for, and they've come here looking for some answers tonight. Andy, just tell me so far, what is your impression of the general election campaign?
Well, I've not really heard much from both the Labour and the Conservative parties. I mean, the Lib Dems have been doing a lot. They had Charles Kennedy around here and been getting flyers through pigeonholes and all that kind of stuff. That's absolutely nothing from the Labour or Conservative parties. Just this tonight.
Okay, and Chris?
I think I've been disappointed by some tremendously cynical campaigning on the part of the Conservatives, trying to play sort of lowest common denominator politics. And I think we've been dogged by very major issues like Iraq, and it'd be nice to get away from that and look at some broader spectrum of policies from the candidates.
And what about you, Vicky? What do you think of the campaign?
I think the Liberal Democrats have certainly been the most vocal around Cambridge. I'm certainly not going to be voting for the Conservatives. I would consider voting for the Labour Party, but unfortunately Anne Campbell's been so inconsistent in her voting that in Cambridge it seems a bit unlikely that she's going to attract the student vote.
For 2 hours they listened as 6 of the candidates put their case. When it came to questions, Iraq dominated. But these would-be MPs were also tested on tuition fees, ID cards, Zimbabwe and bureaucracy in the NHS. A show of hands at the end suggested the Lib Dems had won by a narrow margin. Well, you've heard what the candidates have had to say, so what are your impressions?
Well, I think the Conservatives have a point, as arrogant as it was, that only the larger parties will be able to get all these proposals that they want to do and make them go through with them. But
so, do you mean that affects how whether you might vote for the Lib Dems or not?
Yeah, but as strong as they are here, they do have good proposals. But what's the point of voting for them if they aren't able to do them?
What was your impression of the candidates?
I was generally quite impressed. A little disappointed that they didn't get the opportunity to put forward a broader range of their views on things. But I think it was good to hear from the Liberal Democrat candidate, and I think I was most impressed by him.
You thought they concentrated too much on Iraq?
Yes, I think it's a very important issue, but a general election is never a single issue referendum, so it's very important to think about lots of different things.
What about you, Vicky?
I was absolutely disgusted with the amount of sniping that was going on from some of the candidates, and I was quite pleased that the Green and the Lib Dem candidates managed to kind of rise above it. They were the two candidates that impressed me most, and I have to disagree actually. I think Iraq is a really important issue, and I think the Lib Dems are completely right to mention the fact that they were the only party who really did oppose the war.